Hey everybody. So somebody asked me to make a video about making breakout rooms in Google Meets, right? So as a teacher, we'll oftentimes want to do group work, but since we're doing remote teaching and learning and distance teaching and learning, being able to do breakout rooms within Meet basically is separating the students into groups. And you can also differentiate and separate students into groups. Maybe you want to put stronger students together for whatever reason. Maybe you want to have a mix of strong and weak students or whatever. And so that's another reason that you may want to do it. But simple group work is really common in the classroom. It's tough to do from a distance perspective. So I'm going to go over that here. There's a couple of things that you ought to have first. So the first thing is an extension called Mute Tab, and this is the one that I use. There's probably more than one. Mute Tab, offered by TRM, CNVN, whatever. The reason is, as the teacher, you're going to have multiple meetings open, and you want to be able to mute them so that if you're talking directly to one group, you don't have the other groups making noise and coming into your discussion. It's confusing. It's annoying. So you want to be able to mute your tabs. So I'm going to add that now. Do add extension. And now if you do this, you see Mute Tab has been added. The other thing you'll want to do is right-click that, right-click, and do Pin. And that'll keep it right up there. The other thing that you may need to do, you may need to reload Chrome after you add these extensions. You might not have to, but you might have to, so just be aware of that. So we added Mute Tab. The other one you're going to want is Google Meet Grid View Fix. And I'm assuming that you're using Google Chrome because you should be. It's just the best browser at the moment. Microsoft Edge is basically the same thing. They're both built on Chromium, so if you're using the new Edge, that is the new Microsoft Edge, it's going to work the same. It's going to work equally as well, but I still use Google Chrome. Personally, I just prefer it. At any rate, this gives you a grid view, obviously, and it allows you to have yourself in the grid view and to do things like highlight who is speaking. So I definitely recommend getting this one. I already have it added to Chrome, and so I don't need to re-add it. But if I didn't, you would see the same thing. It would say add to Chrome or install or whatever. So get at least those two. You may want other extensions, like the attendance extension, etc. There's other stuff. You want at least these two for what we're going to do, though. So once you've got those, open up your first new meeting. Now, just so you're aware, this is the G Suite meeting landing page. And all you've got to do is click join or start a meeting, and then you'll get a meeting code. You can do continue. I'm not going to do it right now, but when you do continue, it takes you into the regular Meet page where you see a preview of yourself, and you can copy the code and you can send it to folks. I'm not going to open it because this is my work setup, and I want to do it on my private personal setup. But my point is, these landing pages look a little bit different, but the functionality is the same. This is the landing page for like a personal Gmail account for using Meets. So like I say, slightly different, but the same in the end. And basically, if you've got this one, you'll click New Meeting, and then you can either do Get a Meeting Link to Share or Start an Instant Meeting. So I'm actually not going to do these. Well, I'll show you. So get a link to share. Here you go. You've got a link. You can copy it. And actually, I did want to show you this because what you should do is set up the meetings beforehand. So if you're going to have 4 groups, get 4 separate meeting links. Set them up beforehand. And my other recommendation, strongly suggest this, is you make a little spreadsheet. You can put the links in there. You can put the groups in there, and then you can email it out to the people who are going to join. Now, you don't have to. You can simply start the meet, join it, By the way, my camera is not going to work because I'm using the camera to record myself. But once you've got this, you can do copy joining info, and then you can message it to whoever you need to. If the people already know this is the meeting that you go to, all right, cool. Here you go, we're in the meeting. And then other folks can jump on in. Now I've got a laptop over there. That one's got no camera either. But let me see here. Well, I'll join it this way. So I want to enter the code. Let's see. IQZ GKSG PCA. Do allow like normal. There's no camera on this one. In this case, we're doing ask to join. We have to ask to join because, again, these are two personal accounts. Admit. Okay, now we're both on there. And I'm turning off the microphones so we don't get any weird echo. Again, this is actually that laptop back there, and I'm just connected to it through through AnyDesk. So now that you're in your meeting, you may want to simply send out the links that way. In which case, okay, you can create new links on the fly, and you can just send them over to the other person by doing chat or the other people. And then you can say, you know, hey Jim, hey Ted, whatever, click this link. And then say to the next group of people, hey Karen, hey Janet, use this other link. This is fine. This works. Again, I would recommend making a bunch of links ahead of time and sending them out to your students, and that way you know who's supposed to be in which groups. But you know, it's up to you. Either way will work just as well. So let's see here. Let's open up the other one. So let's say that you have, okay, so here is, I've emailed the other person this set of links. Let's close out of this one. And I've told them to go to, you know, let's say that they're in this group. Okay, so they open up that group. Now, on the teacher side, what you'll want to do is open up all of them. Open up all of the links all at once. So, there's one. Now your camera is going to work for, well, let's see. My mistake, hang on. I need to switch accounts here. Yeah, this is the trouble with having multiple accounts. You gotta make sure you know which one you're signing in with. Again, it won't show the camera in any of them actually, but it would show the camera in all of them. So your one camera can be used in multiple Meet sessions. Your one microphone can also be used in multiple Meet sessions. So don't have any concern about that. Just open up the 4 or 5 Meets that you've got as the teacher and sign into them all, just like I'm doing here. There we are. Now, you've got the 4 meetings open. What I would recommend, and actually I'm going to close this one, all right? I'm going to close this. I don't need the links anymore. I've got my 3 that I'm using already opened. What I would recommend is you can take these tabs and pull them out, make them their own window. And then on Windows 10, you can take and click up here, and you got 2 options. If you drag it over to the middle, you see how it makes this window? So it's going to take up half of the screen, half and half. So if you've got 2 windows, do it like that. It'll tile automatically. But if you've got more, like I've got 3, I'll drag this one out as well. Now I'm going to take this one and drag it down to the corner. And you see how it takes up 1/4? If you drag windows to the corner, they'll take up 1/4. So now I've got my 3 meetings. I've got students logged into each one. Let me log into this with my other computer. So I'll close out of that one. Log in here. That's fine. Ask to join. Let's see, which one am I asking to join? There we are. Admit. Now, again, it's only asking me to admit because these are personal ones. If you're in a school, you wouldn't have this issue. So now my student, what they see is they're logged in. You've sent them the link. They're logged in. They're good to go. They've got their group of 2 or 3 people. They're doing their work. You, the teacher, you are logged into multiple ones, okay? And again, you can just sort of set the screen up like a grid. I don't need to do that. You can set it up with halves. You can size these differently if you want to. It kind of depends on the size of your screen as well. Like this screen is 1080p, so it fits 4 of them okay if I had 3 or 4 students in each. More than that, and each individual student is going to get pretty tiny. The reason you wanted the mute tab thing is so you can mute them individually. So I might want to mute those 2 and then talk to this one, right? I might want to mute this one and talk to that one. And what I would say is have students send a comment to you when they need you. So for instance, this one down here is muted, but if I send a comment to myself, right? So now that shows up right there. I can say, okay, I need to check with that person. Here we go. Now I can turn on my microphone here, mute the other ones, unmute this one, and now I'm talking just to that group. Have them send you comments, and that way you actually don't have to listen to them. You can record multiple ones at the same time. There's no problem with that. You created the links, so they're going to go to your drive, and that's about it. Now, I have seen other more complicated directions, right? Basically, the directions I'm giving you are create as many meets as you need, send the link to the student however you need to, whether it's email, whether you send it to them within one of the meetings, whatever the case may be. Join them all, mute the tabs that you're not talking to, and then it's just a matter of like mute one, turn on the microphone, mute the other one, microphone off. It's just playing with those settings. And you know, if you need to recording them all and keeping track of it. I have heard of other ways to do this. So for instance, these were instructions that I got, and basically it's the same thing, but going through Classroom, generating the Meet link with Classroom, which that's fine. And then what they did here was they created rooms with room numbers, room 2, room 3, room 4. If that's easy for you to create the links, cool, go ahead and do it. All that's doing is creating the links. That's it. Once you get to actually using the different meets, it's literally just you have 3 or 4 different meet windows open at the same time. Or tabs. You can keep them in tabs. That's totally fine too. Though I wouldn't suggest it. I would have it laid out somewhat like this. And remember, grab the window up here and you can drag it to the middle. If you want half screen, you can drag it to the corner if you want quarter of the screen. Yeah, that's really it. The students can do their work, you know, as this student down here in the corner is doing, working with their partners and so on. When they're done, you know, if you tell them, okay, you're all finished, go ahead and log out or whatever. Or you may say to them, okay guys, go ahead and join the original link. Join back with the classroom. That works too, that's fine. If you only want them to work in groups for say 20 minutes out of 40, that's okay. But essentially breakout rooms are just more than one meeting. That's it. All you've got to think about is how do I get the links to the students, message, email, classroom, whatever. And that's why I would strongly suggest, again, let's see if I'm in the right one. No. I would strongly suggest making a list within Google Drive, within a spreadsheet. Here we are, breakout groups meetings. That'll keep it sort of straight in your mind, who you want where, and that'll keep it straight in the students' minds as well, which one they need to join. And the question comes up, what if you've got odd Mel trying to join group 1? You're going to be there as well as the teacher. Say, hey Mel, get out. Don't be dumb, weirdo. That's all. Or you could be nicer with the students, whatever. Yeah, that's all it is really. It's not complicated. Breakout rooms are not like a new feature that was added or anything. It's just literally a different way of using Google Meets than what we're used to. It would be super, super nice if Google would have a button where you click the button and it automatically sends links to students and organizes it for you automatically, but they don't have that yet. So you organize it, you send it to the students, however you need to, and then you join them all. And that's sort of the key. You, as the teacher, would join all of them. Turn off your camera, or not your camera, I'm sorry, turn off your mic, turn off your speakers, and just wait for the messages to come in. Tell your students, type a message to me if you need me, and that's it. So yeah, if you have questions, leave them in the comments. Breakout rooms are awesome for certain types of work. They're not great for everything, and it's much better if you've got a bigger screen. So if you've got at least 1080p, good. If you have a 4K screen, that's awesome. You can fit several windows in there. But I would say you probably don't want to use more than 4 or 5 students per group, and you probably wouldn't want more than, say, 4 groups, maybe 5 if you're pushing it. So that sort of limits you to, 16 to 20 students probably. If you've got 24, maybe you add an extra student to each group, maybe have them be 6 students per group. You could do 6 groups of 4, but it's going to get a little bit awkward with all the windows, but you could do it, sure. The biggest issue is, once you've got it organized, the biggest issue is sort of coordination, like jumping between the meetings and turning off the speakers and turning on the mic, or turning off the mic, turning on this, whatever, that type of thing. It can kind of get confusing, but as long as your students are patient, you're going to be fine with that. So that's all I got for you. Sorry it's so damn long again. Hopefully that helps some people. Remember, create links, send them out to kids, join them all. That's it. Get those extensions as well. All right, enjoy.